We are live. Hi, welcome. It's Yoga Intermissions. It is Saturday if you are live today. That sounds kind of odd. My name is Karen, coming to you from Soundscape Studios in Vermont. Great idea to grab some sort of cushion. It doesn't have to be a specific meditation cushion. It could be a couch, it could be a pillow, it could be a folded up blanket, but go ahead and grab something. I'm going to turn on an extra set of lights so you can see me a little bit better. Today we are focusing on the breath and mantra as tools, not just to support the movement of the body coming back into view here, but also to support the mind, the spirit, the heart, and I'll call it the behavior or orientation of the body. So grab your cushion. We're going to have a seat. We're going to take the sitting bones. We're going to bring them forward toward the edge of your cushion or the rolled up fold of your blanket. Yes, it's only 60 degrees here, so I'm wearing socks and a sweatshirt this morning. So find a comfortable seat. And if you've crossed your legs in the very most natural way, see if you can physically cross them the opposite way. Sitting bones are at the edge of your cushion. And if need be, you can always grab something like a block or a Tupperware container, maybe not Tupperware, Rubbermaid, or maybe some not branded version, and place them underneath your thighs if your hips are tight or you're having any soreness or you feel like you're really kind of holding on. I don't necessarily need it on my left, but my right side kind of likes it. And it helps me to sit up taller, to tuck my tailbone, draw my navel in and up, lift from the top of the pelvis all the way to the sternum, not very far on me. Spread open the collarbones and give yourself a nice little tuck of the chin. Hands, what do I do with my hands? Anything that feels okay, but if you can, for the notion or concept of receiving, place the palms upward if possible. We're going to either cast the gaze forward and down or shut the eyes. I'm just going to come into this space and see if we can find a little bit of comfort in our tall seat, let's call it. It's not like a high top table or a bar stool because it's our body. But maybe you could think of it as a bar stool, but whereby the seat is actually down on the floor and the back is the whole length of the legs and the back of the chair. We're just going to start with our mantra, our observation, our being in this moment. On the inhale, I breathe in. On the exhale, I breathe out. Any cadence you like. I breathe in. I breathe out. You don't have to change the breath. You don't have to clasp the back of the throat at all. You don't have to force anything. I breathe in. I breathe out. We're going to take about a dozen breaths doing that. Don't worry, I will count. You don't need to. You can just continue to breathe and repeat that mantra. I breathe in. I breathe out. You can blink your eyes open now and breathe naturally. Hopefully you were breathing naturally. I'm just going to take a little movement, an interstitial between our breath work, our pranayama. So the first thing that comes to mind is, how do you feel different than you did before the breath with mantra? I feel definitely more relaxed. My body feels calmer, and maybe a little bit warmer. So go ahead and place your hands on your knees. We're just going to take some circles from the waist, or the hips actually, in and around, as far back and as far left and right and forward as you can. Take your time. We're going to take 3 to 5 on one side, your choice, or in one direction. And we'll take 3 to 5 in the opposite direction. I did build this as a gentle class, so it is very gentle this morning with this focus on the breath. We will do some down dogs and some standing work as well, but primarily we'll be seated or, on our backs. All right, we're going to work on another usefulness of the breath, which is to heat or cool. So if you're feeling warm, dogs pant when they're too hot. When you're feeling too warm, if you breathe out your mouth, you will relieve some of that heat from the body. If you are feeling too cold, you can employ ujjayi breath, a slight constriction at the back of your throat, that warms the body due to the way the breath works. I don't know the science behind it, but it does warm the body. So we're going to start first with our standard inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, but not necessarily the cleansing breath. The cleansing breath will warm you up a bit more. So we won't go necessarily as full and deep as we might on a cleansing breath. So find your nice, strong posture again, the placement of your hands, a looseness in the calves and the thighs. And if you like, you can close the eyes, or maybe they're downcast and forward. So I'm going to breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose. Exhale. We're going to take our mantra now. I breathe in. I breathe out. 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 Last time, I breathe in. I breathe out. And a natural breath. I feel like that gave me a little bit of exhilaration. Maybe it was a little too fast for me to remain at a steady state that I was, but I do know that I feel a little cooler now. So now we'll move into warming up through the breath. I think I've told this story before, but there have been some scientific studies of monks meditating, sitting in the snow, and with their breath and their meditation, they were actually melting the snow within a certain diameter around them. This is something I practice when I'm shoveling or before I'm shoveling, because I live in Vermont, so we get a lot of snow, and it can get very, very cold. Sometimes we forget because we're so focused on whatever else is going on, but the beauty of the breath of victory, whose name I just have momentarily forgotten in Sanskrit, ujjayi breath, is that it's easy to do. So imagine as you breathe in, you have a slight constriction of the back of the throat, not really tight, but a little bit. And it sounds a little bit like ocean waves coming upon the shore. And as you breathe out, the sense is sort of like you're fogging a mirror, but your mouth is still closed. So you're going to close your lips, open up your teeth and your jaw just a little bit. Constrict the back of your throat slightly, sit up nice and tall. Take a breath in. You might hear a noise. And out. In. And out. Make the breath fuller. I breathe in. I breathe out. I breathe in. I breathe out. 5 more times. I breathe in. Let's take one last time. I breathe in. I breathe out. Another interstitial before our final breath work. We're going to take the right hand and drop it to our sides onto the earth. Maybe the fingers are tented like a really cool cousin it spider. And the left arm will float high. Now, if you're observing me, note that my elbows do not go straight. But the intention here is for the energy to have the arm as straight as you can and the fingers nice and wide. Press the left sitting bone into the earth a lot and reach the left fingertips as high as you can. Breathe in. Exhale, tilt over toward the left. If it feels good, you can reach the left hand farther out to the left, but you don't want to shift from the hips. You don't want to kind of glide the hips and shoulders over. You want to be making this tilt. Open the heart to the sky and maybe take a peek up at your wrist or your palm. Inhale, lift up to standing. Press the palm to standing, to tall spine. Palms draw together. Reach for the stars. And then bend the elbows. Bring your fingertips to the nape of your neck or between your shoulder blades. Press the head back into the forearms. Clasp your hands and then press them against the back of your head. Thumbs might massage your neck a little bit, but really you're working to open up the shoulders and the collarbones. We're going to take a tilt over to the left. Rise back up, breathe in, a tilt over to the right. Rise back up, breathe in, elbows toward one another. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, scoop the belly, round the spine. Imagine your elbows could touch your navel or your hip creases. Inhale, back up. Drop your hands behind you. Fingers point toward your body. You're on your finger tops, cousin it. Lift from the sitting bones all the way to the collarbones. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift your heart, a little baby back bend. Make sure there's some space between your ears and your shoulders. No need for a pair of earrings called shoulders attached to your ears. If it feels good, you can take all of that again. Lifting from the sitting bones. As the sitting bones press in, you start to think about the top of the pelvis and the sternum, creating length between them or space between them. Shoulder blades hug together behind you. The chest and heart lift toward the sun, and maybe the head drops back. Draw the belly and stack the shoulders over the hips. This time, a little movement of the left hand more toward next to the left hip. The right arm floats high. We get that arm as straight as we can. Pressing the sitting bones and the knees downward. The fingertips of the left hand into the earth. Breathe in, get tall. Exhale, a tilt over, this time to the left. Press the right sitting bone to the earth. Lift the heart toward the sky. You might find that creates a little bit of movement or a micro movement. And the gaze might lift upward, even if the eyes are closed. Rise up to your seat. Exhale, hands to your heart. And now the more traditional cleansing breath, the the idea here is scientifically based, that if you audibly breathe out like a sigh or a ha, that the body takes that as a cue to relax, to release, to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, if you will, if you care much about the systems of the body. So the hands are drawing to the heart. We still have a long spine. The shoulders are still away from the ears. We're going to take as deep a breath in as we can so that the belly puffs out all the way around the body, and then the heart lifts because the lungs are expanding. So breathe in. Open your mouth sideways. Can be forceful or not. Inhale. Let it go. And one more time. Those are examples of the many powers of the breath. As you know, if you are familiar with practicing alongside me or with me, I focus quite a bit on the breath, advising or guiding, as it were, which movement and in or out breath coincide. Traditionally, if you are rising up, unfolding, lengthening, expanding, that's an inhale. And if you are folding, as in a forward fold, sort of like this, you are breathing out. However, for people with low back issues, especially when you are standing, if you are doing a lift, it can often help to breathe out so that you contract your belly a bit more and get a little bit more strength into the core. So I will offer that today. I do often offer it, but not always, and I wanted to call that out. Back to the moment at hand. We are going to establish an intention for ourselves for the remainder of our practice. It could be a dedication. It could be what brought you to your mat today. It might be, I'd like to stay with my breath. It might be, I'm going to try the mantra through the whole practice. It might be something completely different, aspirational, or very straightforward and here right now. Consider that maybe intention or inspiration, or even a dedication. You could dedicate the practice to finding your breath, or you could dedicate it to a being or beings. I'm going to seal that in using the power of the Om, an Om that could be silent or chanted. But we are going to take another cleansing breath first. I breathe in. I release. I breathe in long and deep. Along with the theme of breath and calm, but also of opening up the body. We'll start in a child's pose. It's a very good place to start. If you read, you begin with ABC. And if you sing, you begin with Do, Re, Mi. So find your child's pose, coming face down. Knees nice and wide. Arms are long in front. Could be in a little bit of a V shape, but not super wide. They're coming right out of your shoulder sockets. Their sitting bones are working their way toward your heels, and they might not make it, and that's totally cool. That's what your body is experiencing today, or maybe every day. Or maybe it felt like never 5 years ago, and now it feels like always. Whatever shape the body takes here, we accept it. And we work to extend the breath in a way that extends the spine, top to bottom. Really extends the low back across the sacrum, left to right. We draw up to the fingertips and walk the hands up to the left, maybe all the way off the mat. But we don't lift that right sitting bone off the heel or farther away from the heel. And we drop the head again, perhaps stacking the right palm on the back of the left. And really working to open up the right side of the body. So you squeeze the belly in a little bit and feel the stretch, not just in the rib cage or maybe even the shoulder, but also in the armpit and all along the right side of the right arm. We inhale, crawling through center. Breathe out, crawl to the opposite side. We crawl back to center and make our way into a tabletop shape, ensuring that we are a steady, sturdy tabletop with the navel moving in toward the spine, the wrists right under the shoulders, and the knees underneath the hips. And from here, cat-cows, rolling cat-cows, hip circles, whatever the movement or shape the body guides you to, don't think about it, just let it go. If you are doing cats and cows, the cat rounding the spine is a breath out. The cow arching the spine with the belly dropping is a breath in. If you're doing some other motion or shape or movement, note how the breath is working for you, or if you feel like it's disengaged, go ahead and pay attention to it and change it. We're going to move into a neutral spine and pause. So we're going to start to heat up our larger muscle masses. So the right leg reaches long, but keep the ball of the foot on the mat to start. Squeeze the kneecap toward the quad or toward the thigh and take a rock forward and backward. Squeeze your glutes. Next time the shoulders come over the wrists, we're going to float that leg off the earth, reaching away with the heel, and we float the left arm in front. The knee and elbow draw toward each other, breath out. I breathe in, extend. The left hand will come down, we'll draw the knee above the right elbow. I breathe in, extend. I breathe out, right leg over to the right. Drop the foot onto the earth. Walk the hands backward until you're kneeling on your left knee. So you have this sort of gate latch posture. We're pressing lots of energy into the outer edge of that right foot and drawing the kneecap toward the quad. The left arm floats high. We take a tilt over to the right. A little bit of a deeper stretch than, and maybe taking up more of the body because I can feel my quad stretching as well. And if you press your hips forward, you might start to feel the hip flexor, the psoas, the front of the left hip start to stretch. And sweep that left hand around and down outside the right knee. Rotate the right shoulder so the right arm comes in front of you. And then lift it high, shift your hips forward once again. Gaze comes up toward your thumb and activate your right foot and your right leg. Ooh, breathe in. I breathe out. Come back into a three-legged tabletop with your right leg gate latched. Lift the right leg, use the belly, swing the right leg above the left calf so it comes over to the left outside your mat. A little peek over your left shoulder. Drop the shoelace side of the right foot to the earth. And go ahead, keeping that leg straight, and glide the front of the right hip to the left heel. I just had an awesome back crack. You might draw to your forearms. Your head might face down now. And if you're not feeling a ton in the left glutes, you might tuck the right toes under, float the knee off the mat, and shift the heel farther away from you. I breathe in. I breathe out. Maybe you direct the breath into anywhere that's feeling tight or a little grumpy. Remembering this is your practice, so if something doesn't work for you, you're going to find another way, either an alteration or a version of what you're doing or something different. We're going to draw back to a three-legged tabletop, floating the right leg above, bend the knee like you're stepping on the sky, and use the glutes a lot to pump that leg up and down. Draw your knee to your nose. Inhale, extend the leg long. Once more, we're going to find balance, left arm in front, right leg behind. Draw your belly in, a little real estate between your shoulders. When you work your core, drawing the belly in and up, you actually create heat as well. 3. Watch your breath. 2. And 1. Left hand down, right knee down. Find the movement that works for you. A little sway, a little hip circle, a little cat and cow. Check your neck. And we're going to take all that to the other side. I breathe in. I breathe out. I breathe in. I exhale and extend the left leg behind, ball of the foot on the mat, rocking forward and backward. And pause, shoulders over hips, left leg floats, right arm floats. Balancing up, balancing the hips, squaring them toward the front of your mat. Exhale, knee and elbow toward one another. I breathe in, extend. Exhale, left hand to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, left leg out to the left. Inhale. Exhale, left foot down, and the hands crawl backward. We're working to press the whole left foot to the earth. That foot is parallel to the mat. The hips are square to the front of the mat. Maybe you have a little extra space to slide that left leg away from you. The kneecap draws toward the thigh. Right arm floats high. Exhale, tilt over to the left. Press those hips forward. Feel the opening. Press the top of the right foot to the earth and the outer edge of the left. Maybe the gaze lifts up. I breathe in. I breathe out. I sweep the right hand in front. Bring it outside the left knee and the right knee. Rotate the left shoulder so the arm swings in front of you and the left arm reaches for the sky. Hips press forward, not down, not back. We're not seated. We're working to have a single plane of the hips and the shoulders. Gaze moves up to the left thumb. I breathe in. I breathe out. 2 more. We return to our tabletop with the left leg out to the left. We use the glutes, the hamstrings, and the belly to lift the leg off the floor. Sweep it behind us. Draw the knee to the nose. Inhale, extend. Draw the knee above the left elbow. Breathe out. Breathe in, extend. Balance once more. Right arm floats forward. Right hand, let's take knee to elbow again. Breathe in, get long. Right hand down, left knee bends, pump the knee. Knee to nose. Get long on a breath in. And the knee to the mat. Any adjustments or movements you need, go ahead and take it. That definitively warmed up my body, taking off the outer layer. I'll try not to do any more lyrics from Sound of Music. Hands will walk forward. Finally, you might be saying in your head, but we did our biggest warm up on our knees and with our breath on our seat. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips downward facing dog. Take your time. That is a breath out. You might pedal into your feet and notice how the breath helps with the pedaling, the opening up of the hammies, which we haven't done yet. Maybe a teeny bit in our gate latch pose. Settle in with the chest pressing toward the thighs. It does not matter if the heels get to the mat or not. If they do, it means you're a little bit more open, probably along the hamstrings, the calves, and the Achilles. And I breathe in. I breathe out. I breathe in, rise to the tiptoes. I breathe out, bend the knees, look past your hands, walk to them, and find your forward fold. Ragdoll or some other bind. Check that the feet are parallel to the outer edges of your mat. Mine tend not to be when I arrive. Let the power of the breath enable the spine to elongate, the head and neck to loosen up. Nod the head, shake the head, release any bind you have. Now is a place where if you have low back issues, you can breathe out. Otherwise, you can breathe in for your half lift. Long, flat spine here, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in or out to root to rise all the way to standing. Hands will drop by your sides for a moment in mountain. Then they'll sweep out and up overhead, sunrise. We take a sunset, hinge at your hips, fold over your legs. Again, halfway lift, breath in or out. And a forward fold. Breath in or out, getting tall. Once the shoulders stack over the hips, we're lifting up, finding our sunrise. Saluting the sun. Exhale, hands to your heart, Samasthihi. We'll take a moment here. I breathe in. I breathe out. I breathe in, hands drop by the sides. I breathe out. I breathe in, arms out and up like you are the sun shining its rays far and wide. Exhale, sunsets, hinge at your hips. Halfway lift and a forward fold. Inhale, left foot glides to the back of the mat as far as you can take it, runner's lunge. Left hand or fingertips down, right arm floats high for a twist. Maybe the back of the right hand comes to your low back or over toward your left hip for a deeper twist. Staying in your twist, drop your back knee. Ensure that your right knee is directly over your left ankle. Drop your left hand to the earth and find your half split, Arta Hanumanasana. Left hip over the left knee. If you're super stretchy, you're welcome to bring your left hip, left sitting bone toward your left heel, but that's actually a harder stretch. So I have to take my time to scoot my right foot forward, peel the toes up toward the torso. Hands can move a little backward so you can get a longer spine. Heart moves forward and shoulders away from the ears. As long as you're feeling a stretch on your hamstrings on the right side, so behind your right thigh or the back of your right thigh, that's all you need. Sole of the right foot down. Hands come inside the right foot and it scoots out to the right. You might bring the knee and the heel stacking once more. This time we're going to point the right toes over to the right. I'm just going to move my back knee backward a little bit. And the right palm comes to the inside of your thigh or knee on the right side for a twist. If you like to add a quad stretch to this, feel free. This is not a place where it's intended to lift the foot off the floor. So you might point the toes more to the right to help out. Pelvis shifts forward versus down. Hand comes inside the foot. Foot comes parallel to the outer edge of the mat. We tuck the back toes under, lift the hips up, and crawl over to the long edge of the mat, toes in, heels out. Halfway lift, again, that could be breath in or breath out, and a forward fold. Loosen the head. Let's clasp the hands behind the head once more. This time elbows drop. We're pressing the heels into the earth to lift the hips and using gravity and the weight of our hands to drop the head and the neck. Hands release to the earth. We crawl toward the back of the mat, pointing the left toes to the back of the mat and the right toes, right heel now toward the front of the mat. Step forward with the right foot to find a chair pose, Utkatasana. Yes, my back is to you. Utkatasana. Hands can come to the heart. We shift into the right foot to float the left knee toward the chest. And we drop the left foot. Keep your balance, stay in chair, lift the right knee toward your chest. Drop the foot. Draw onto the balls of the feet and see if you can sink all the way down to a squat. Take your time. I breathe out. Woo. And if you fall off balance like I do, you just come right back to it. Physical is just like the mental. Sometimes we fall away. If you like a little twist or a side crow, you can walk the hands over to the left. I breathe in. I breathe out. And we take it to the opposite side. If you are taking this, you might just have a prayer hand shape. Hands walk back towards center. They come back to your heart. And we slowly press back to chair pose, Utkatasana. Lifting the left knee toward the chest once more. We swing the leg behind us and find our way into facing the side of the mat. I just fell again. My balance is a little off today. So our hands are in prayer. Legs are really wide, facing the long edge of the mat, opposite to what you did originally. Then we're going to bring the heels in and the toes out. Bend the knees over toward or out toward the middle toes. Arms lift up into a cactus shape, goddess pose, temple pose. Shoulders squeeze together. Belly draws in, tailbone tucks. Really find this stack. I breathe in. I breathe out. I breathe in, rise up in a V. I breathe out. I breathe in. Come back down, goddess. I breathe out. I breathe in, rise up in a V. I breathe out. I breathe in. I breathe out, temple, goddess. Right heel lifts off the mat. We sink deeper. Stay here for a moment. Widen the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Stay low. Bring the heel down. Lift the left heel off the mat. Sink a little deeper. Stay here. Tuck the belly. Tuck the tail. Stay low. Draw the left heel down. Lift both heels off the mat. Draw the belly in, sink down, pause, you got this. Bring your heels back down, rise up, arms in a V, bring your hands to your hips. Heels in, toes out, other way, toes in, heels out, halfway down. All the way down. Now I'm going to walk back toward the front of the mat. Coming to the ball of the right foot with the left toes pointing forward in our runner's lunge. Adjust if need be. Right fingers or hand down, left arm high for your twist. I breathe in with a long spine. I breathe out to twist. If you like your half bind, take that here. Keeping your twist, drop your back knee. Untuck the back toes. I breathe in, long spine. I breathe out to twist. One more round. Left hand drops. I'm going to make a little bit more length between my front heel and my back knee to find Arta Hanumanasana, half split. Take your time, play it out, see what happens. Aiming more for a long spine than worrying about getting the chin or the nose or the forehead to the shin. Imagine the heart's lifting forward and passing the toes. And feel like you're dragging the mat backward with your left heel. You'll get a deeper stretch. Hips are aiming to be square to the front of the mat. I breathe in. I breathe out, making space. I breathe in. Spine lengthens. I breathe out. We extend. And moving into our lizard twist, left foot down, hands inside the foot. You might scoot the heel back a little bit, and the whole foot comes to the outer edge of the mat. Toes point to the left. Left palm comes to the inner thigh or inside that left knee. And we take a twist with a quad stretch. If we did on the other side, or if it feels like it's the right thing to do here, I breathe in. I get long, I breathe out, pelvis shifts forward, I find this twist. Left hand comes down, we return to a tabletop. Our last 7 minutes of the practice, some cats and cows to start. Then we'll work into a back bend and a twist. In these shorter classes, my go-to for the back bend is mostly Anahatasana, inchworm pose. It's one of my favorite postures, and it is a beautiful posture for the breath work that we have been doing, because it's also a polarizing posture. Find neutral spine. Hips will stay right over the knees. Belly draws in and up, and the hands walk forward. You're like a puppy dog or a cat finding that stretch that they so love. This is Anahatasana, heart opening pose. So you're looking for the forehead, chin, or chest to come to the mat. And rather than moving forward, think about the shoulders moving outward to help draw the heart closer to the earth. Shoulders sometimes get a little nasty here, so you can always bend the elbows outward and let the fingertips or the thumb tips touch, and you'll find it easier to draw the heart toward the earth. I breathe in. I breathe out, relaxing my heart to kiss the earth. I breathe in. On the exhale, you might start to feel the rib cage actually open a little bit and soften a little bit so the heart comes closer to the earth. And maybe this time you consider all of the beauty that is around you, whether that is the beauty of color or fresh air or flowers nearby, or just the smile of a loved one, which could even be a pet. And all of that beauty, all of that warmth, all of that compassion and kindness is gathering right behind your heart, right through the back, and wrapping around the heart like it's hugging it. And Mother Earth is also extending her energy from the earth through the front of the heart and meeting up at the back. So you have all this beautiful, warm, kind, supportive hug around your heart, drawing you closer to the earth, to the energy of all things. Scoot the belly in, draw the tailbone back. We're going to work our way back to a seat to find our way into a stretch, but you want to keep the belly a little active here. Actually, we're going to roll onto our backs for this stretch, given the amount of time we just spent in that posture. Soles of the feet on the mat, knees hug in. Slowly roll all the way onto your back. Take your time. Once you're on your back, the right knee crosses over the left knee, like you're sitting in a chair crossing your legs. You're going to scoot the hips over to the right and draw the knees over to the left, coming onto the left hip. Arms flop out in a T, and the gaze moves over to the right. So opposite your knees is the way the nose points. I breathe in. I breathe out, let it go. I breathe in. I breathe out. One more round. Feel the body lengthening, twisting, releasing any more toxins that remain there. Slowly bring the whole spine back to the mat. Sole of the left foot comes to the mat. We unwind and take that all to the other side. Left knee crosses the right. Hips shift over to the left. Knees drop over to the right. Head turns opposite the knees. You might feel this side feels different, but just take that breath and apply it wherever you need it. I breathe in, expand. I breathe out, relax into the twist. I breathe in. I breathe out. I breathe in. I breathe out. Unravel from the twist. Adjust your spine to be as straight as it would normally be, top to bottom. Hug your knees in and find either a happy baby, legs up the virtual wall, or maybe just the hug of the knees in with some knee circles, finding a little massaging out of the low back. And a final inhale to exhale into Shavasana, finding your shape. You could be sitting with your back against the wall or lying with your feet on the floor, or in the more traditional corpse pose, legs extended on the mat, arms extended, palms face up, shoulders move away from the ears, and the shoulder blades kiss the earth. I breathe in, big breath. I release everything, breath out. Once again, we deepen the breath, and with the deepening breath, we invite movement back to the body. The movement combined with the breath eventually gets bigger so that your knees bend. You can roll on to whichever side feels more natural for you. Once on your side, a big hit of gratitude, a shout out to yourself for coming to your mat, and a shout out to the breath for supporting you. Press back up to your seat, crossing your legs, hands together, and we'll finalize with an Om, celebrating all this practice has to offer us and us to offer as a result. Breathe in. Connect the thumb knuckles to the forehead. Let's honor one another, bowing. Namaste. Thank you all for joining in practice, for taking the time, for making the time. I hope you enjoyed our breath work and the combination of breath and movement today. I look forward to practicing with you again. There are now well over 100 videos, so if you so desire at any time during the week, grab a video, grab your mat, and have at it. Enjoy. I hope you have a great weekend, a great week, a great day or evening, whenever you're watching and practicing. My name is Karen. If you have the funds to donate and desire so, you can go to www.saltandsandstudios.com. Have a great one. Thank you. Bye.